and welcome to this after-hours showgram here at Tampa Bay's Rock Station 98 Rock. No crash, got AJ Ryan and Janet, our star goddess, in the studio this morning on this August 19th, 2019. And Janet, you know, it's pretty really interesting summer according to the stars. We've seen a lot of turmoil with the Mercury in retrograde, and then things started shifting. Things have been really good for Leo as of late. But what's going on? What's going on with all of the signs this week? Do you got some good news for us?
I do have good news. I have good news because the reason Mercury is now direct, which is great. The money faucet is turned back on, which is great. And now this week, the Sun goes into Virgo on Friday. Mars goes into Virgo today, and Venus goes into Virgo on Wednesday. So it's a big week for the Earth and the water signs. And because of that, I think it's extremely positive for those signs, but specifically where you can expect this kind of stuff to happen. And Leos still have it good because now, instead of it being all about them, it's all about their money.
Okay.
And it's a good thing because they make more money, but conversely, when you make more money, somehow you end up spending more money as well. So it's sort of like, yay, happy days here again financially, and now it's like they take the money in here and they just kind of pass it through like to the people over there. Kind of a deal for them. But again, still not a bad thing when the money gods are smiling on you, because it's also unearned income falls out of the sky on them, which is great. For Virgos, it's the first time in 2 years that Mars is in their sign, and so they are about to be extremely fired up. They want to start new projects. They've been sort of doing stuff halfway for the last 3 or 4 months or so, trying to finish up things they already started, yet they have ideas about starting new stuff, but the energy hadn't really been there. As I'm laughing as I'm thinking this, the energy hadn't really been there to make that happen. Well, all of this week that happens. Okay. So something significant happens for them on Wednesday, and then they get the green light to go ahead with all the things that they've been working on Friday, which is a great time, finally, to be a Virgo, because we've been long suffering, unfortunately. Me and Deuce and Big Rig, that's good for us. So we're really happy about that. For Libras, this energy is a good time for them to take a step back. Even though summer's over, it's a good time for Libra just to take a step back, take a look at what is going on before they make any kind of real decisions. And I have to laugh because our head coach of the Bucks is a Libra, and he's doing that right now, deciding who stays, who goes, who do we keep, who do we not keep, and how do we go ahead. And rather than making any decisions, they don't have enough information yet to make an informed decision. Mm-hmm. So they may want to wait 2 weeks maybe or so before they come to their final conclusion on that. So it's just a good time for them to take a step back and observe stuff.
Okay.
For Scorpio, it's a good time to reach for the brass ring. These 3 planets are going to be in their 11th house of hopes, wishes, goals, and objectives. And they get to tap their well-placed female friends and colleagues are going to be the ones that help the Scorpio out. And the reason I'm looking at you is because, you know, you're involved with the Scorpio.
That's right.
So it's good to know that there are things that are going to be happening. You cannot impact it. So the best thing you can say is, okay, honey, I'm with you no matter what it is.
There are no days that I can impact my Scorpio.
No, not in the least. Not in the least. But you should get good news. Your Scorpio gets good news on Wednesday and then again on Friday, which ends up being good news for you.
Cool.
Which is a nice thing, because when the partner's happy, everybody's happy. So for Scorpios, it's been a long time coming for them. They've been trying to do this for almost a year, so it's good to see that finally that effort will pay off for them. For Sagittarians, this energy is in the 10th house of career and public standing. And it's a good news, bad news kind of thing. Sagittarians have been a little bit behind the power curve the last 4 months or so. And that changed when their ruling planet went direct last week. And now this week, there are 3 planets in their 10th house of career and public standing. So they get pats on the back and attaboys for doing a job well done. But then they get additional other duties to go along with it. And it's sort of like, wait a minute, I did a good job, and as a reward, you're giving me more work?
Right.
Yes, that's how it is, because you've showed us you could do it.
Yeah.
That kind of a deal. So it's a mixed bag for them. They just need to do what it is the bosses tell them, because it'll work out really well for them. But the professional eyes are evaluating the Sagittarians' performance all week. For Capricorns, this is great energy for them. They didn't struggle during Leo, but they didn't do anything great during Leo. And now with these Virgo planets are all very favorable for the Capricorn. And the Capricorn has to realize the things they put into motion the next 3 or 4 weeks or so are stuff that's going to pay off for them in December, January, and February. When Jupiter finally enters their sign. So it's sort of like a laying a foundation, trying to make sure you get your ducks in a row, lining up your legal things, your contracts, that kind of thing, before pulling the trigger on it. But I think that the things they put into motion will have a very good result for them.
Okay.
For Aquarians, it's all about spending as much money as you possibly can, whether you have it or not, which is not good news for Aquarians, because it has to do with unanticipated expenses. It's the kind of thing where, you know, you're going to have expenses, but this is when, like, you know, your water pump goes out on your car, and it's like, oh, while you're changing your water pump, you may as well change the timing belt while you're there. It's that kind of a thing. or when you go to paint one wall, then makes the next one look dingy. So it's the type of thing where they're just going to be spending money hand over fist over the next 6 weeks or so on. Yeah, I know, that's crummy news. I never like to hear that. It makes me glad I'm not an Aquarian.
I've known one Aquarian ever, and you just described her to a T.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's how they are.
Yeah.
You know, so and there's tough to tell them anything too because they know everything.
Yeah.
And then some.
That also
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
apt,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So for Pisces, this energy is going to be very challenging for them because they made a whole bunch of new starts.
Yeah.
And that's gone very well for them. But those new starts have sort of stimulated the ire of some other people. So there'll be some kind of confrontations with them, with the Pisces. And the Pisces just have to stand up and go, yeah, no, I'm not going to take it. Pretty much what it's going to be for them. And they have important allies that will back them in their play. But the Pisces has to realize that they're the ones that are going to have to say, yeah, no, I'm not going to have it.
Foot down.
Yeah. And, that's the kind of thing where you just, you do that and then you let everybody else know not to mess with you too. That kind of a thing. For Aries, this energy is in their 6th house of work and responsibilities. And Aries have been busy playing the last month or so, and now it's time to get back to work. It's time to go ahead and pay some attention to not what it is you do, but where it is you do your job and the people you do that job with. So it's expanding a bit. And they have to be careful because Aries are big fans of starting stuff.
Yeah.
They're not such big fans of finishing the stuff, of doing the details that it takes. And what it is that they're starting is going to require a lot more detail work than they're used to. So if they can do the details and they can bring it to a successful conclusion, it's just a matter of they have to stick with it. And they have to realize to take the long view that what it is they're trying to put into motion may take a good 2 years where it's fully developed. And so you want to make sure you do it right. And they get that opportunity over the next 4 weeks or so. For Taurus, as you say, it's safe for you to come out. Taurus is the last 4 or 5 weeks of just going like this, just trying to keep their heads down and praying stuff doesn't fall on them. And they've had no ability really to impact the stuff that's gone on in their life, and it's affected them at their home. Which is, and a Taurus, if their home is not right, it doesn't matter what's right in the rest of the world. If their home's not right, they're not having it. Right. So for them, with all of these planets going into their 5th house of love affairs, children, amusements, pleasures, sports, anything fun, anything entertaining, means that the Taurus is going to have a smile on their face over the next 4 weeks or so. So it's good time with love. It's good time with children. It's good time with creative ventures. Ooh. So it's almost like Tauruses are coming out. Like, I almost feel like Linda going, it's safe to come out, no more houses falling on you or anything like that. So for Taurus, I think out of all the signs, they enjoy this energy the most. It's the most fun, creative, and it serves largely to give them a break, which they really need.
Yeah.
For Geminis, they have spent the last month or so trying to do something about their day-to-day living, to get the way it is that they do their lives has been in turmoil for the last month or so, and they've been trying to get back into a decent routine and something that they can really manage.
I'm honored that you think I've only been in turmoil for the last month. That's really kind.
Yeah. Have you been in turmoil longer than that?
I mean, this is getting really existential at this point, but I mean, I would say at least the last 3 or 4 months, it's been really tumultuous.
Tumultuous, okay. Well, the tumult stops in your day-to-day living. Yay. And now you get to really feel like you have put down roots. Okay. Because the 4th house is the 4th house of home and your foundations. And now that you're here and now that you're established and now that your work schedule is established in your home life, you can then go ahead and you can tweak it to make it exactly the way you want it to be.
You hear that, boss?
Yeah. more your home than your job. The home, okay. Yeah. The work thing's already pretty much.
You hear that, Scorpio?
Yeah. That's pretty much as good as it's going to get as far as the day-to-day living. But the home life is the thing you really want to be able to feel comfortable there, where you go home that you're not on edge going, I got to do this, I got to do that.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's a really good time, actually, for Geminis in that regard. And they get to clean out. This is going to sound strange, but some debris they've been dragging around with them.
Oh, cool.
They get to kind of set that by the road and then leave it there.
All right.
Which is a very cool thing if they think about it. For Cancers, the pace of their day-to-day living picks up to warp speed, where they've got places to go, people to see, things to do. They have to be really careful not to fall behind the power curve, not to try and bite off more than they can chew. But they're very energized. They're very fired up. They spent a bunch of money last month. They made a bunch of money. And now they want to take that show on the road and see how it plays in Peoria, kind of a deal. So they get an opportunity for additional education where they get to learn something useful about about what it is they do so they can end up making more money. I don't know whether it's a short-term kind of a class or a certificate program, but Cancers, if you get the opportunity to do some additional learning, some additional education, you should take it because it'll pay off for you. And I mean, as early as January.
Oh, wow.
So, because Cancers have really been trying to redefine themselves, and this helps them do that. So, overall, I'm pretty encouraged about the 3 planets going into Virgo, and the money faucet being back on. And I think we all could use a good week.
Who's going to have the worst week?
The worst week?
Didn't really sound like there was a whole lot of anybody for the most part.
Libra
so either,
more so
yeah.
than anybody. If anybody was
Me?
going to Libra.
Okay.
No, if anybody was going to be challenged, it would be the Libra.
Sorry, Libra.
So yeah, because it's the end of their solar year, when the sun is behind their sign, and they're just kind of fatigued. And I imagine Bruce Arians is sitting there going, I don't know, flip a coin, see who they're going to keep. So, but if I was him, I'd be happy with my kicker.
Ain't that the truth?
You know, I really would be.
Got some good ones on the roster right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. And I have a lot of faith in our quarterback too.
Oh, for sure.
35 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Maybe not that
Yeah.
much faith. That's like a blind faith kind of thing.
I am blind for doing this. It's true.
But I think that he's worth putting time and effort into. I genuinely do, and I think that as this year goes on, he does better and better.
I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah,
Most
should be
definitely.
fun.
Well, thank you, Janet.
Oh,
As
it's a
always,
pleasure.
Where can people go to find out more, to talk more about their specific
The
needs?
best way to do it is just to go to my webpage, stargoddess98rock.com, and then there's daily horoscopes, annual horoscopes, stuff you want to know about the different signs, and ways to get in touch with me. So if they don't come to see me at a 98 Rock event,
Yeah.
because we'll be doing some of those.
Perfect. Got it.
Always a pleasure.